knowing he goes there with me. I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. Okay,
Yes.
so now I have to pick you have to put the thing up so I can pick.
But not yet. I've got a couple of announcements first.
Oh,
okay. Everything happens for a reason. While we were at City of Hope, Cherie was scheduled for a 7:30 p.m. evening appointment for radiation on Wednesday. It got moved to 8 a.m. in the morning instead. As a result, we met two people in the waiting room who are avid readers. One was an agent who reads books in search of good candidates for made-for-TV movies. My novel, The Trial, may soon be a potential candidate. Had we not been rescheduled, this encounter would never have happened. And then some quick housekeeping announcements, and he's going to duplicate them in the chat window. Today is the last day of the Kindle giveaway. Grab them while you can. And he's putting the...
I can't.
Oh, you can't?
I have to stop the share.
Okay.
I'll do it at the end.
He'll do it at the end. All right. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time, Cherie and I are introducing another Pick and Read weekly meeting on my Zoom link. The time was chosen to service a wide range of current friends and readers from around the world and not interfere with the ACIM Gather schedule. Use this Zoom link, not ACIM Gather, if you want to join us. I am looking for book translators, any and all languages. This represents an income stream for the translators. Google Translate is okay to use. Anyone can apply, but bilingual individuals are preferred. No translating experience necessary. Ask for a copy of the proposed agreement and options. I could do this myself if I was 39 again, but there are 50 books and several hundred languages. You do the math. LOL, Robert at Dino James Book.
And I'm going to stop the share long enough to put this in the chat.
Okay. And as soon as he gets done moving this, then we will open up the list of essays to choose from. And there's quite a good sized list, including some that might be funny.
That's so exciting that he's going to, like, somebody wants to, his books are genius. They really are.
Well, what's interesting is that we actually receive a list of where the books are sold. And we can see how many are from different countries. And in fact, one of his books has been almost totally purchased by people who live in Great Britain. We're not real sure why, but I think there's been only one sold to somebody here in the US, and all the rest were to people in Great Britain. And we do have at least one or more people who said they were interested in translating them. So we just see that there's an interest and perhaps a need. Can you bring that down, honey? Oh, I'm sorry. Age is a lie. The illusion of decline and the power that remains is a gentle reflection on the spiritual truth that purpose is not bound by age, time, or the body. Inspired by the principles of A Course in Miracles, it invites us to see that what we are is still whole, still creative, and still guided right now. What the world calls late may simply be the moment we are finally ready to listen, receive, and extend what has always been within us. Available now on Amazon, free on Tuesday. Just a reminder, any member or visitor to ACIM Gather should request free digital copies of any book anytime. Please don't buy copies. Just ask Robert at dinojamesbooks.com. Your love and support is enough. Now, for the dissertations le mardi, essays on Tuesday, This part isn't about what I want to say. It's about what you may need to hear. So who would like to choose an essay to read? Take a moment, listen inward, and let your inner teacher guide you to the one that feels right today.
Okay.
Yes,
You know what?
right.
Rick wrote, he has 33 books now. 33. Rick wrote.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That is so sweet.
Yes.
All right. I
Okay.
can't see them. I want you to just bring them up. Okay. You're going to have
Okay.
to make it a little bigger. At least for me. I don't know.
Hang on.
Okay.
And then you'll have to bring it down.
Oh, I see one that I want right away. I'll take the first if you want. I know
Okay.
Rick might, there's several of us. I mean, if somebody else, all right, I'll do this one. What am I reacting to really? That is a great, great topic. I want to hear, I'm excited to read it. Okay. And you hear me okay? Because I have my ear thing in.
Yep.
Okay. All right, good. Now it just needs to be bigger. So a little bit bigger. Okay. And
Now
bring
wait
it
a
up.
second while he gets it centered.
Yeah, give him a
centered
chance to
and
get
up.
it set up.
And then go up a little bit.
Okay. There is a moment, usually small and easy to miss, when something in the world seems to call for a reaction. A comment is made, a delay occurs, someone gives a look that feels slightly off. Without much thought, the mind moves in. It evaluates, judges, assigns meaning, and reacts. The reaction feels justified, even if necessary, because something appears to have happened. But what if that assumption is the only thing worth questioning? A Course in Miracles opens its workbook with a statement that does not gently guide, but quickly dismantles. Nothing I see means anything. At first glance, this feels almost impossible to accept. Of course, things mean something. Of course, reactions are based on what happened. Yet, the Course is not denying that something is seen. It is questioning the meaning assigned to what is seen. So clear.
You need to go up, honey.
You have to bring it up. We need to believe the world acts on us. Someone says something unkind and we feel hurt. A situation doesn't go our way and we feel frustrated. It seems obvious that the world causes the reaction, but the Course offers a reversal that is easy to read and difficult to fully accept. I have given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. If that is true, then the reaction is not caused by the event itself, but by the meaning already placed upon it. The world becomes a trigger, not a cause. If nothing we see has inherent meaning, then meaning must come from somewhere. The Course points to the mind, not as the brain or personality, but as the decision-making source of interpretation. Projection makes perception. What we see is shaped by what we have already chosen to believe. A neutral event appears and the mind immediately interprets it. This is unfair. This is a threat. This proves something about me. Once that interpretation is made, the emotional reaction follows automatically. The reaction feels justified because the interpretation feels true. Yet the interpretation itself is rarely questioned. A simple example makes this easier to see. Two people hear the same comment. One feels insulted, the other barely notices. If the comment had inherent meaning, both reactions would be the same. They are not. The meaning did not come from the comment, it came from the interpreter. The Course underscores this gently but firmly. I do not understand anything I see. This is not an attack on intelligence. It's an invitation to reconsider certainty. As this begins to settle in, something loosens. The certainty that we know what has just happened starts to soften. That look may not have been judgment. That delay may not have been rejection. The Course pushes even further, saying, you see the world that you have made, but you do not see yourself as the image maker. We trust what we see while overlooking the role we play in it that way. There's a brief space, almost invisible, between perception and interpretation. It happens so quickly that it usually gets unnoticed. Yet within the small gap lies the possibility of freedom. The Course offers a way into the space by loosening our certainty. You do not know what anything means. This is not meant to leave us confused, but to release us from automatic interpretation. If we do not know, then we are not locked into the same reaction. The question then becomes more than philosophical. It becomes immediate and practical. What am I reacting to? Is the event itself or the meaning I've assigned to it? And if that meaning came from me, is it possible that another meaning is available? This is not about pretending nothing happened or forcing a more positive interpretation. It is about recognizing that interpretation is not a fact. It is a choice, often made unconsciously. The Course brings this into focus with a statement that quietly overturns our assumptions. I am never upset for the reason I think. If that is true, then every reaction becomes an opportunity not to fix the world, but to reconsider the meaning given to it. In the moment when a reaction rises, fast and certain, there is a chance to pause, not to analyze or suppress, but simply to question, what am I reacting to? And what if I have given this all the meaning it has for me? That question does not always produce an immediate answer, but it does something more important. It opens space. In that space, something else can enter, not another interpretation drawn from the past, not another defense, but a different way of seeing. The Course describes this as reinterpretation, a quiet correction. The Holy Spirit reinterprets what the ego makes. Nothing outward needs to change for peace to become available, only the meaning and the willingness to question it. The question that once felt automatic begins to lose its grip, not because the world has changed, but because the certainty about what it means has softened. And in that softening, something unexpected appears, not confusion, but clarity, not effort, but relief. The question remains simple and direct, waiting in each moment. What am I reacting to really? What am I reacting to? So it's always about, this is fabulous, and it's so clear. And the clarity that's coming through is absolutely fantastic. And what I love about your work, Robert, is it reiterates everything from the Course in a very simplistic way. And it's so clear that we make the interpretation. We have our mind makes the story, and then we think that what's going on out there really matters, when in fact it's really our separation and our guilt that is the reason. So I think it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And I thank you for letting me read.
No problem. Any other thoughts, or comments?
Yes. this very thing, situation I've probably been dealing with for a little while now. I joined Unity Church, and they were looking for help with music. So I'm a singer, and so I offered to help with music. Um, I'm I'm used to um, I'm used to dealing with people, professionals, basically, that you have enough time to prepare, but that's not exactly how things are. There's never enough time to really prepare, and that's kind of stressed me out. Okay. So really, I've been um, learning my lessons. I've been learning my lessons of let go and let God. I've been learning my lessons of uh, ego. Okay. And just this last week, I I read this earlier, this exact one. You must have posted this fairly recently. And anyway, I asked the Holy Spirit to what what am I really reacting to? Because it's live streamed, and it embarrasses me to not be prepared. Okay. And so I had asked myself,
Remember, I'm not going to
what
really
am I
be
really
talking.
reacting to? Okay. So yes, this was excellent. For me to ask myself those questions um, regarding that situation. It's getting better. It's getting better, but when they want me, I don't get to choose what I'm singing. So they're choosing for me what I'm singing, and there's almost no practice or rehearsal. So that kind of stresses me a bit. But I am asking myself those questions. So I'm grateful for this one in particular. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. And I know exactly where you're coming from. Because I'm the same way. So, anyone else?
Any other comments? Okay, would somebody else like to pick what they would like to hear and or read?
How about synchronicity or the hand of God?
Bottom right. Okay, do you feel like reading it, Rico?
Holy Spirit says it doesn't matter what I feel like. I need to do what's in front of me.
Okay, well, let's get it set up here a second.
I'm like Sharon. I need the size at the max.
Okay, can you read that?
I believe so. Thank you, Sharon. Synchronicity or the hand of God. A reader once asked whether those uncanny moments in life, the perfectly timed phone call. Wait, I got to move the pictures because it's in my way. The perfectly timed phone call, the chance meeting that changes everything, the sentence in a book that arrives exactly when needed, are simply coincidence or something more deliberate. Is it synchronicity or is it, as some would say, the hand of God? To begin, we have to look at what we mean by coincidence. In everyday thinking, coincidence suggests randomness. Two unrelated events just happen to line up, and we notice it because it feels unusual. But something about certain moments resists that explanation. They feel precise, personal, almost as if they were arranged. This is where the idea of synchronicity, introduced by Carl Jung, becomes useful. Jung describes synchronicity as a meaningful coincidence, events not liked by cause, yet experienced as deeply connected. The meaning isn't in the mechanics of the event, but in the way it seems to answer or reflect something within us. From that angle, synchronicity does not require an external force rearranging the world. It suggests that the inner and the outer may be as separate as we assume. What we experience out there begins to look like a mirror of what is happening in here. Now, if we shift the lens slightly and look through A Course in Miracles, the conversation deepens. The Course consistently moves us away from the idea of a random or independently functioning world. Instead, it points toward perception as the organizing principle of experience. What we see is not accidental. It reflects the condition of the mind that is looking. The world you see is what you gave it, nothing more than that. If that is partially true, then synchronicity may not be something rare or special. It may simply be what becomes visible when perception is no longer fragmented. When the mind quiets its resistance, experience can appear ordered, even responsive. This is where the phrase, the hand of God, often enters, and it carries a certain weight. It suggests intention, guidance, even care, but it can also be misunderstood. If we imagine God as something separate, reaching into the world to rearrange events, we return to a divided framework, an outside power managing an outside reality. The Course offers, where to go?
I,
The Course offers a quieter interpretation. Guidance is not imposed from the outside, it is recognized from within. In that sense, the hand of God is not about intervention, it is about alignment. What we call synchronicity may be the experience of that alignment, a moment when the usual static drops away and something coherent appears in its place, not because the world changed, but because the way we are seeing it did. Think about when these moments tend to occur. Often, they arise when we are genuinely asking, searching, or open in some way. The answer doesn't always arrive dramatically. It may come through a simple conversation, a line in a book, or an unexpected reminder. The form is ordinary. The timing is what gives it meaning. So is it coincidence or is it responsiveness? From a purely analytical standpoint, it can be explained away. But from direct experience, it really feels accidental. There is a sense of being met, as if the question and the answer were part of the same movement all along. And that may be the quiet shift this idea invites. What if synchronicity is not something that occasionally happens, but something we occasionally notice? What if the hand of God is not reaching into the world, but gently revealing what was already there? The distinction is subtle, but it matters. One places meaning outside of us, the other invites us to recognize it. In the end, the language may not matter. Synchronicity and the hand of God could be pointing to the same experience, described from different angles. One psychological, the other spiritual. Both describe those moments when life feels connected, coherent, and somehow aware. The real question may not be which term is correct. It may be whether we are willing to notice. Is
Thank
that
you.
it?
That's it, Rico. Thank
I
you.
like that, Robin. I like that a lot. Yeah, I like the the what I call the garbage being removed from my inner self, where I can see better on the outside. So I like to think I was once in a raggedy homeless shelter before I got introduced to a 12-step program. I was homeless, godless, thoughtless, penniless, and I thought the world was at its end. And what was happening is, and I hated it. And about 5 years later, I looked back, and that homeless shelter wound up being the powerful hand of God. I just couldn't see it then. I saw it later. So I like this a lot. Has personal meaning to me. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Rico.
And that's the way I feel about talking.
That's the way he feels about talking. Bob. Okay, any other comments or thoughts? Would someone else like to pick what they would like to hear and or read?
I'd like to hear, it's not on this list, but the one, the I am one, I can't remember the first three words. I am. We read it about a month ago. It was read about a month ago.
No, it may not be on the list. He takes them off the list once we've read it. So that
Uh,
we could look
Okay.
for it before the next session and see if we can find it. Okay, Gail?
okay, sure. Thank
If you
you.
look on the very bottom, it says search. You might be able to search for it right there. Put I am, and it'll come up.
Very bottom,
Yeah,
because I
right.
looked
Yeah,
on the website
there.
trying to find the search.
Yeah, right there. She already
would-
has the highlight
That
on it.
would
Not,
trick you.
not you, Gail. I'm
That's a
talking
different-
to Robert.
It's a different church.
It's a different.
Okay.
than
Okay.
the here.
My bad.
That's all right. Okay, so we go back to where we were, or we are on it. Okay. If nobody else picks it, I'm gonna say fly fishing and A Course in Miracles
Okay.
up on the left hand towards the top.
Huh.
Left.
While you're looking, Sherry, I'm going to say hello to my friend Rick. Hi, Rick.
Hello, Mr. Rico. Good to see you.
Okay. And I will go ahead and read this one. Fly fishing and A Course in Miracles. What could fly fishing and A Course in Miracles possibly have in common? At first glance, very little. One takes place knee-deep in a cold river, line cast into moving water. But
Just let him know that I'm a fly fisherman.
okay, that's why I picked it.
Huh.
Okay, line cast into moving water. The other unfolds in the quiet of the mind, where thoughts are examined, undone, and gently replaced. One seeks a fish, the other seeks awakening. Yet beneath the surface, both are engaged in the same essential act, the attempt to make a connection. Each one is looking to make a catch, a fish for dinner, or an opening in a mind that once seemed closed. I have stood in rivers that had no business welcoming a human being. Water so cold it numbed the legs within minutes. Fingers stiff, breath visible, snow falling quietly into currents that did not care. Hours passed with nothing to show for it. No strike, no movement, just the sound of water and the growing temptation to quit. And yet I stayed, not because I was disciplined by nature, but because something in me refused to leave empty-handed. That same stubbornness followed me into A Course in Miracles. Only here, the river was internal. The cold was not in the water, but in the resistance of the mind. And instead of hours, it stretched into decades, 30 years of what I can only call impatient growth, wanting the result without fully embracing the process, wanting clarity without surrendering the habits that obscured it. Discipline was not my strength, in either arena. In fly fishing, I wanted the fish without mastering the cast. I wanted success without repetition. I wanted results without the quiet, often boring refinement that the craft demands. And the river, like truth, has no interest in accommodating impatience. The fish do not respond to frustration. They respond to presence. The same has been true with the course. You cannot force understanding. You cannot demand awakening on your timetable. You cannot wrestle peace into existence through effort alone. If anything, the harder you push, the more it slips away. The mind tightens, defends, resists, just like a poorly cast line that lands too hard, scattering the very thing you hoped to attract. Both paths require something I had to learn the hard way, a quiet discipline, not rigid, not forced, but steady, the willingness to return again and again to the river, to the lesson, to the moment in front of me, even when nothing seems to be happening, even when the results are invisible. In fly fishing, there is a moment when everything aligns. The cast lands softly. The drift is natural. The fly moves as if it belongs there. And then, almost without warning, the connection happens. A subtle rise, a tightening of the line. For an instant, you are no longer separate from what you were seeking. In the course, the moments are quieter, but no less real. A grievance dissolves without effort. A judgment falls away. A situation that once triggered reaction now passes without disturbance. No fireworks, no announcement, just a subtle shift that tells you something has changed. You did not force it, you allowed it. There is humility in both. I have spent countless hours thinking I was in control, only to be reminded that I was not. The river does not yield to willpower. The mind does not awaken through demand. In both cases, you are participating in something larger than your own effort. You learn to offer, not impose. A cast, a thought, a question. And then you wait, not passively, but attentively. Over time, the goal itself begins to change. The beginner in fly fishing wants to catch fish. The seasoned angler begins to value something else, the stillness, the rhythm, the simple act of being present in a place where nothing is required except attention. The fish becomes secondary. And in A Course in Miracles, the shift is even more profound. At first, we think we are trying to reach others, to open minds, to extend truth outward. But slowly, almost reluctantly, we begin to see that the real work is within. The catch is not another person's agreement. It is the release of our own need to convince, to control, to be right. What we thought we were seeking outside begins to dissolve. Still, there is a difference. In fly fishing, landing the fish is still part of the experience. There is a tangible result. In the course, the idea of landing anything fades. True connection is not about bringing someone over to your side. It is the recognition that there are no sides to begin with. And yet, the metaphor holds just long enough to teach something valuable. Both require patience that does not come naturally. Both demand a discipline that must be learned. Both expose the futility of force. And both, in their own way, invite us into presence. I did not begin as a disciplined man. I began as an impatient one, standing in freezing water, casting again and again. I learned something I could not have learned any other way. Sitting with the course for 30 years, resisting, returning, resisting again. I learned the same lesson from a different direction. Connection is not taken, it is received. Whether it is a trout rising from a cold river or a mind opening to a new idea, the principle is the same. Be present, be patient, and let what is already there reveal itself in its own time. Any thoughts or comments?
I wish you could feel my heart beating. Man, that is a very, very, very beautiful piece there, Robert. And I'm gonna personalize it and bring it into my own life. I've gone through all that with the course, and I'm fairly new. And this has really just immediately I start relaxing more instead of get anxious about how much I can cover in a certain period of time. I just need to slow my roll and just inhale what you guys have been offering me the last few summers. And man, I didn't think my attitude of gratitude could get any better, but it just went up about 20%. So thank you, my friend, for touching my heart and leaving footprints on my soul.
Oh my goodness,
Thank you.
how beautifully said. Any other ideas or comments? Okay, would we like to pick? We have time? Oh yes, we've got time for another one.
How about three voices, one prayer?
Three voices.
That sounds interesting.
Right above. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
If
And
we
would
have,
someone,
if we have one that says 33 voices, we give that one to Rick, but we'll go with the
okay,
three.
okay. Would
Three
someone else
voices.
like, would someone else like to read this one?
I can.
Okay,
Three voices, one prayer. Few words have been spoken more often and perhaps understood less than those we call the Lord's Prayer. It is repeated in churches, whispered at bedside, and carried across centuries as both ritual and refuge. Yet behind its familiar rhythm lies something far less settled than its repetition might suggest. Before the prayer itself is even spoken, there is a preface. In the gospel account, Jesus does not begin with the words we know. He begins with a warning. Do not pray to be seen. Do not heap up empty phrases. Do not believe that God needs to be persuaded by repetition or performance. Your Father already knows what you need before you ask. That opening changes everything if taken seriously. It suggests that the prayer is not a formula for getting something, not a performance meant to impress others, nor even a way to inform God of our needs. It is instead something quieter, something internal, something that seems to assume a relationship already intact, already known, already complete. Then comes the prayer itself. Our Father. Not my Father, not a distant God, not a ruler to be feared, but a shared source, a unifying identity. The language itself dissolves separation before the first request is even made. Hallowed be thy name. Not a command, but a recognition. Not making somebody holy, but acknowledging holiness already present. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. If God already knows what is needed, what is this asking for? Is it a request for change, or or a surrender of the belief that we know better? Give us this day our daily bread. Is this about physical sustenance or something less tangible, more immediate, something that cannot be stored or accumulated, only received in the present?
I'm going to just stop here. Does anybody see the parallel between this and Goldsmith from this morning?
They were
Yeah,
Robin, I didn't
absolutely.
hear the other part. You said between this and what?
Oh no, there's more. There's more.
No,
Yeah,
there was another.
we were playing a Joel Goldsmith recording earlier today about calling our Father God, or calling God our Father,
Okay.
and how that shifts our relationship with God. So yes, absolutely, I do. I was thinking about the very thing when she started reading. So yeah, absolutely, right on.
Okay, Gail,
Thank you,
sorry to have
Lynn.
interrupted.
Okay. Am I starting with not a command?
Yes,
That's fine.
Okay. Not a command, but a recognition. Not making something holy, but acknowledging holiness already present. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. If God already knows what is needed, what is this asking for? Is it a request for change or a surrender of the belief that we know better? Give us this day our daily bread. Is this about physical sustenance or something less tangible, more immediate, something that cannot be stored or accumulated, only received in the present? Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. A condition or a reflection? Is forgiveness something granted or something recognized that already true when extended outward? Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Needs to come up. Does God lead into temptation? Or is this a statement about the human mind asking to be guided away from its own distortions? Even within the original framing, the prayer raises as many questions as it answers. Then comes another voice, centuries later, in health and science with key to the scriptures. Mary Baker Eddy offers not a revision, but an interpretation. Line by line, she translates the prayer into a more metaphysical language. Our Father, Mother God, all harmonious. The parental image expands. God is no longer only Father, but also Mother, not distant, but all encompassing, not divided, but whole. Give us grace for today. Feed the famished affections. No, the bread becomes less about the body and more about the heart. Hunger shifts from physical need to emotional and spiritual longing. And love is reflected in love. Forgiveness is no longer transactional, it becomes reflective. What we extend is what we experience, not because God measures and responds, but because reality itself operates through reflection. Enable us to know, as in heaven, so on earth, God is omnipotent, supreme. The kingdom is not arriving, it is already established. The prayer becomes less about asking for something to come and more about awakening to what already is. Eddie's interpretation gently removes the sense of distance. God is not approached, God is understood. The prayer is not a plea, but a recognition. And then a third voice. In A Course in Miracles, the prayer is approached from yet another angle, one that goes even further in undoing the assumptions behind the words. Here, God does not respond to needs because God does not perceive lack. The idea that we must ask is itself part of the illusion the Course seeks to correct. Our Father becomes a statement of shared, where'd you go? Okay, of shared identity, not relationship. There is no separation to bridge, no distance to cross. Hallowed be thy name is not praise directed outward, but an acknowledgement that what is holy cannot be made unholy, and what is real cannot be threatened. Thy will be done carries no sense of surrender to an external authority. It becomes the recognition that God's will and our true will are the same, and that conflict exists only in misperception. Give us this day our daily bread dissolves into the understanding that what is truly needed has already been given, completely and eternally. Forgive us our trespasses becomes something entirely different. Forgiveness in this framework is not about pardoning real sins, but recognizing that what we thought occurred in separation never truly happened in reality. Deliver us from evil shifts as well. Evil is not an external force to escape, but a mistaken belief to be corrected. In this view, the prayer is not asking God to act. It is undoing the belief that God ever needed to. 3 voices, 1 prayer. In the first, there's a quiet invitation to step away from performance and into sincerity, to recognize a relationship that does not need to be earned. In the second, there is a reinterpretation that softens the edges of separation and reframes the prayer as a reflection of divine harmony already present. In the third, there is a complete undoing of the underlying assumptions, where even the act of asking is seen as unnecessary because nothing real has ever been withheld. So, what then are we doing when we repeat these words? Are we asking for something? Are we reminding ourselves of something? Are we learning to see differently? Or are we simply repeating sounds that have long since lost their original meaning? If God already knows, why do we ask? If nothing is lacking, what are we seeking? If forgiveness is inherent, what are we forgiving? If the kingdom is already here, where are we trying to go? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, if each of these interpretation points in a different direction, which one are we actually praying? Or have we never stopped to consider that question at all? Wow. Wow.
Comments.
Thank you, Robbie.
Amazing.
Wow. That is the word, Gail. Wow.
It truly
Exactly
is.
what I was thinking.
Robert has quite the gift to express clearly, simply, thoroughly, just plain amazing.
I say ditto. But for me, Robin moves me not because of his intellect, because he's a sharp guy, but because I believe he's had direct experiences with this stuff, and now he's just expressing it. So I'm really super appreciative. Thank you, Rob.
Yes.
Thank you, Rico. Any other comments? Glenn, do you want to throw anything in here?
No, I'm just really enjoying listening to everyone reading. Uh, just so grateful for everyone who came in. There's someone here, a newer person that we haven't known before, I don't think, Stephen. But we have another Steve, so I mistook him for that. But yeah, I especially I love the fly fishing one. It made me think right now, they're getting ready to drain one of the lakes that we always went fishing at. They have to drain it because of the water shortage, that they have to send the water to another reservoir. So they're going to actually drain this lake. And so they said there's so many fish in there. They said, everybody come, there's no limit. You can come and catch as many fish as you like. And so people are posting every day. Today, a guy posted fly fishing on that lake, this incredible, it's just huge fish. And so when we started reading that one, I thought about, wow, that's what opportunity. I mean, it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel, kind of, because there's so many of them there. But of course, they've had limits on all these years. Anyway, I just think about that and think about, yeah. Um, all these things are available to us. And, the fly fishing, I also thought about that movie, River Runs Through It, because that's a big part of their activity there is fishing in the river. And so just imagining, what that is like and seeing that as being uh, the joy of standing there in the river, casting out my line. I love it anyway. But yeah, those are some things, and yeah, there's so much to learn from simple observations. So much, Robert. You're right. So yeah, anybody else have anything?
I
Yeah, what
love the fly fishing thing because I used to fly fish when I was a kid, and this changed the whole perspective of the fly fishing. So thank you, Robert. That's beautiful.
No flies were harmed in this fishing.
Well, I just thought, I was fishing with my father, and oh, we have to do this again. And now I look back with this perspective, and it just changes it all. So thank you.
Also, I have came to mind is when I'm fishing and enjoying the moving water and not so focused on getting that fish. And when I sit in my meditation chair without trying to get that big trout meditative experience, it's better. It actually doesn't work when I trying to get the big fish in the form of a peaceful meditation. When I drop the search and just sit and be, it's like when I'm in the water with the stream, it's pure enjoyment. I don't need to catch the fish to enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? I would like to personally thank all of the readers today. We had a nice group, and it's great when more people participate. And it also is kind of fun to see which ones different participants choose. It shows a little bit of what's hidden in terms of what we are like and what we enjoy and what we're questioning, which is, I believe, a lot of what this is about.
Thank you, Cherie. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, everyone who joined us here today. So very grateful for you all being here, and looking forward to seeing us all again on Thursday. Anybody else have anything before I close this out? All right. I love you guys. Bye all.
love you too. You take care, everybody.
Yep.
Blessings to everyone.
Get some supper.
Thank you,
Yes.
Vince.
Yes, to everybody.
Thank you, Rob.